Katie Allen, style aficionado, like coming to us literally from her amazingly beautiful closet right now. Welcome to Entrepreneur School.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm super excited to be here with you.
We connected we both were speaking on an event sometime earlier this year, and then we connected and we're like, oh, this is a good match. We need to keep having conversations, and I'm excited to have you come in and share about like what you do, and particularly like not just about style and fashion, which is always cool and fun, and we could talk about it for hours, but really how that is infusing you as a brand, as a business owner from like a confidence place, all of that. So tell us all what you are all about, please.
Yes, first before I start, I just have to say shout out to Kelly's Nails because they're bringing me so much joy for this podcast. And that's essentially what I'm all about, especially when it comes to helping female entrepreneurs dial into who they are and what they are is like, what are you wearing? What are you adorning your body with that makes you feel amazing? Like, how are you getting those little hits, those little dopamine hits all throughout the day by like using our bodies? I see style as self-care, self-love, whatever word you want to put in there, and it's really important. So, back that up. How did this all start? When I was little, I just never really knew what I wanted to be. And everyone, like growing up in the 80s, like, well, let's be honest, like the internet wasn't, they may have been working on it in the background. It was not mainstream. But, and it was all around like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was like, we still do this to our kids today, but I do feel like the jobs have changed, right? Because like when we were kids, it can be like, I want to be a YouTuber or a podcaster. Those didn't exist. But MTV did. And I just always remember how much I loved music videos and loved watching just the outfits and the outfit changes and like how every cutscene went to a different outfit. And they really use those cutscenes to tell a story through the way they would change people's hair, makeup, and clothes. And I just remember like locking into that and having that feeling. It was just like, how does someone turn something like that into a job? Like I just remember not having the language for it. And then when I went to college, undecided, of course, I was like, well, just go to college and I'll figure it out from there. Like, do I have to have a major? So like for me and my friends, it was like either we were undecided or we were like psychology. It was just kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I remember like they were like, you can get a job or like you can have fashion design or fashion merchandising. And I was like, what? You can major in fashion? And that was just like when my whole world exploded. And then I'll just cut through the like 25-year detour of my, my corporate professional life, which always was like sidelining style. Like it's funny, I tell the story a lot, but like in 2020 when I transitioned out of my corporate job, when I actually got fired over Zoom in my closet, that's a podcast for another day. My title at the time was Director of Style and Trends, but it was for home products. And I just couldn't, it never even clicked in my mind, and I never even saw what I was doing. And then, like, a couple months of me just like figuring it out, I came back to the style journey. And that's when I realized I was like, oh my God, it's always been about style. It's always been about clothes, but not in the way that people always think it is. Like, when I tell people all the time, like, I'm a stylist, they always do, though, like, oh, I'm not really into fashion. And I don't really care what's trending. And I'm like, good, you shouldn't. Because what you should care about, like, is how do you feel? And if you happen to like something that's trending, that's great, you can wear it. The only reason we need to pay attention to what's trending is it's going to make shopping a little bit easier for you. But outside of that, easier meaning like you know what to expect, and humans love to know what to expect.
Hmm.
But outside of that, this is about self-expression at its highest point. It's like art form, like on your body. So that's a little bit about me, Kelly. I mean, I could keep going, so I'm gonna pause.
Yeah. Okay. I want to dive into one of those things just quickly because the whole like let me just go, I don't care about fashion. I don't, like why do we why do we do that? Why do we think that like tell
Because we
me your
don't value
insight?
it. We don't value it as a society, and we think that if we care about how we look, it's superficial. It's not deep. And I think like for women, especially, we've been villainized either into believing that we have to be smart or we have to be pretty. And that if we're pretty, we can't really get a job and we can't be smart. And like we have to pick. And something I hear all the time is like, well, my sister is a stylish one. My sister is the pretty one, or my sister is the smart one, and I'm the stylish one. Like whatever that story is that we tell ourselves is like
Mm.
we have to define ourselves and put ourselves into this bucket. And it's like we can't be both. And I'm like, that's so much bullshit. And am I allowed to cuss on your podcast? I'm so
You just did. Yeah, we're good.
we had to edit that
It's not. I just put a little E. It's fine.
out on this one episode. Um, it's so much like it's just a story that we tell ourselves, and I think that fashion really is just a story in and of itself because it is history, and that's what I love about fashion. And even when I went to fashion school, it's funny you said that because even when I went to fashion school, we always got to these like divided conversations because I did have a fashion merchandising degree. So basically half marketing, half fashion. And what you're doing in fashion, because we weren't doing designs in fashion, we were learning like retail math and different things like that. But we were learning about fashion history and like the trends and how they come in and out and how they get designed and like all these different things, like the consumer psychology behind other things. And that is just really so fascinating and it's super powerful. And that's the part that I really, really want to help women understand. Like, this is going to date me, so now I've cost, and I'm really going to date myself on your podcast. But when I was in fashion school, 9/11 had happened. And I remember, which is kind of funny at the time now, because one of my teachers in New York, she zoomed in, which is like the year 2001. So, like, this was a big deal. So she zoomed in, and I just would never forget. I mean, obviously, I remember a lot of things about 9/11 happening, but I'll never forget that day she said to us, it was our fashion history class, and she said, watch how this changes the way we dress as Americans. And I was like, psh. And she was like, the explosion of denim is going to be the number one thing because in America, denim was like, that was it, right? It was like the place of you come to for dreams and it, everyone could start fresh. And like denim was a new fabric and it was very casual. And America as a country has become really casual. And she's like, watch it explode. And then now, when you think back to that, we've been through every iteration of that. But when you think back to that, like casual Fridays, that was when we got to start wearing jeans, right? That's all of that stuff kind of started in that era. Like, but pre that, there wasn't a lot of like, you could never wear jeans to work. There was no casual Fridays, or it meant you wore a polo shirt and not a full suit and tie. And then that has completely evolved into us wearing our pajamas and working over the internet.
Yeah.
And that is directly tied to fashion and history. So like when we say we don't care, that's like you can't not care because you are fashion. Like
Yeah,
our
and
lives
also
are fashion.
it's almost like we're saying we don't care so that we are perceived to not care, which means that we do care. So just own it instead. And like
Yes.
it's not frivolous to call your girlfriend and ask what you're wearing when you're going to like a business event together or whatever. Like it's just how do you want to present yourself? And man, and I know that I feel totally different on the days
Yes.
like today I was recording podcasts. So I put on a nice dress. I put on like lipstick. I did my hair. I curled my hair like yesterday. I think I was wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt,
And you
and a
feel totally
sports
different.
bra. And that's like a totally different feeling. And it contributes directly to my energy. Right.
Mhm.
And so I love that you're making this connection really known as part of like helping people step into their own personal style.
Yes. And another thing, like we're like myth busting here. I love that you said that because that's what I hear all the time. People say, well, like no one's gonna see me. I'm like, but you see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see you get to benefit from that. And then anyone else you come in contact with the day gets to benefit from that. And chances are the most important people to you, when we say, well, no one's going to see me, the most important people in your life probably are seeing you. Your spouse, your partner, your kids, your friends, whoever those people are to you that you do see behind the screen, those
Yeah.
people see you. And those people are interacting with you on a daily basis. And the confidence, like you're saying, like going to those business events and things like that, confidence, in my opinion, is really the things that we do in those micro moments. It is like whatever it is. And it could even be wearing that. Sure. Yes, like wearing the Mickey Mouse shirt and the sports bra is one feeling, and then dressing a certain way is a separate feeling. But even if you are going to do that, I tell people all the time, like, even when you have those casual days, make them mean something too, which I'm sure you were doing something super productive behind the scenes or something like that. There's also other ways to adorn yourself to continue to build that confidence so that it's not a habit that we get stuck in of, oh, I'm just going to wear this. I'm just going to do this. Because you know how quick that turns into then not caring and then diminishing every piece of our life, right? Or only saving our clothes for dressing up for those really big things. Like that's another thing that I hear all the time is like I got to save this super cute. Like you and I totally bonded over like a really cute pink jumpsuit. And it's like saving that for a special event. Yeah, wear that to the special event. And then after it's had that like moment at the special event, I want you to wear it to the grocery store. I want you to wear it just because. I want you to wear it on the day it's cloudy because you need a boost of energy.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's go into a little bit of like how to's and tips and pro tips and how to pick things out of your closet, shop your closet, or go shopping. Like, wherever you want to start on that. And then we can probably case study me because I am
Ah,
like,
you're really dialed in. You're
no,
super dialed.
but I don't feel like that at all. I'm like, okay, I think I understand the concept of layers now. That's about
I
it.
was gonna say that's the thing is a lot of people think that they don't have it dialed in, and I think they do. And so
Hmm.
some of my favorite things I say all the time is like, know the rules, break the rules. When we know those like fashion rules, then if we want to break them, it's so much more fun, just like any rule, right? So I think there is this elusive, like I always joke around like the fashion Illuminati because everyone's like, well, I don't know the rules. What are the tips? What are the things I'm supposed to be doing? And of course, there's things that we can do all the time that really frame up our bodies and things like that. But I think, especially in this day and age, that really is the only style rule. Like all the old things, like around colors of like, you can't wear white after Labor Day, and blue and black don't go together, and blue and brown don't go together. I think all of that's done. Like, I don't think, I know, all of that stuff's done. Um, and the other thing I've noticed, and I remember you and I having this conversation, I think it was after you came into Style Squad, most of us innately know what colors look good on us. Like I see this time and time again. I was actually just talking to my VA that helps me do stuff in the business, and she was like, when you look at someone's closet and the clothes that you have and the colors that you have, chances are those are the colors that actually look good on you. Now, sometimes that's not always true because like black is always that one that no matter what, everyone's going to choose black. But this is where like I think color stuff gets tricky because I'm a huge proponent, going back to like know the rules, break the rules, is like there are certain colors that are absolutely going to look good on you. Trust your instincts. You know what they are. You do. You know what they are. But there's also colors that you just love that just make you happy. And like, doesn't matter if it's your color.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I tell people that all the time. I'm like, okay, so you love like just make it up. Like yellow is a big color, right? So that people love or hate. And they're like, I just love it, but it looks terrible on my skin tone. And I'm like, you're still allowed to wear it. So if that's the case, like if you want to get into some nitty-gritty tips, like if that's the case, if there's a color out there that you just know kind of washes you out, but you just love it, you're obsessed with it, the further you get away from your face, the less it matters. Because our face is where a lot of those colors come in. Because when you're thinking about color analysis and you're doing style stuff, it's your hair, your skin, your lips, and your eyes. So, and all of that's, shoulder up. Now in the Zoom, digital age, that's most of what we're presenting most of the time is shoulders and up. But in real life, what we like to
Yeah.
IRL, it doesn't matter as much. And then the further away you get from your face, the less it matters. And or if you are a fan of a certain color and you came to me and you're like, Katie, I just love this brown, right? Like, which I know brown's probably not gonna be the color that's gonna look amazing with your eyes and your hair. But I'm like, okay, well then let's pair it with like the blue that's gonna like pop your eyes out. Like you're talking about layering, right? So then, okay, let's layer that really cute blue denim jacket you have, and then you can wear the fitted. Now I'm just making up outfits for you. Then you can wear the fitted brown bodysuit underneath it, and it won't be as much of a stark contrast. It won't like bring your natural tones down as much because we've heightened up the blue in your eyes with the jacket. So there's like fun little things you can do like that.
Yeah. I love that you are actually like calling out the whole color thing because I mean I've actually talked to a number of people who have the, color training. I didn't even know that existed until like a year ago, but then all of a sudden they all just showed up out of every out of every
Yeah.
nook and cranny. I was like, oh, okay. And so like, okay, I'm a summer, and so
Mhm.
I'm not supposed to wear X, Y, or Z color or bright. I'm not supposed to wear bright colors. Actually, I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be more like a pastel but it's like what you're saying and what I feel is true is that when you wear something that you love, you feel good in it, and then your energy radiates from it, right?
Yes.
Versus to like I'm a blonde. And so most people say blondes look good in red. I hate red. I
And
do
there you
not want to wear red. Like I wore a red shirt when I was at Disneyland because I was doing a whole Minnie Mouse thing. That's it. I
That's
don't
it.
like, I will not buy a red dress. I won't even wear a black dress. This is navy blue. You can't tell. I'm not into those colors, but I want to wear hot pink like every single day.
And you should because it makes you feel really good. And like that's where like I go back and forth. And when I do color analysis for people, I do them just like that. I'm like, here's, and I never call out the seasons because just like in nature, seasons kind of blend into the next one, right? Like spring blends into summer. It's not just like, oh, now we have dates on the calendar, but like and even like fall is a really good example, right? Like you have that transition phase where sometimes the trees are really bright green and they've started to turn orange at the same time. So you have those summer colors leaning into those fall colors. So there's always those colors on the wheel that kind of like blend into each other that you can play with.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have the brights and the more muted colors like for summers, and it can get really detailed, which it's fun if you're into it for sure. But I tell people all the time, I think for me, for color, so I like to do that. Yeah, we can talk about that. I always wanted to know what your personality is too, because I feel like we have our innate inherent colors and then we have our personality colors. And like, how are
Mm,
we bringing those two together, right? Because
mhm.
the sparkly Kelly personality needs that hot pink, right? But then like physical Kelly needs these other summer colors. But I think blending them together is so perfect. But my other hot tip that I was gonna say for me, contrast plays way more of a role than the color seasons because if we don't match our contrast on our body with our outfits, that drives me more nuts than anything. So like I have on this white shirt, which I haven't like we're coming into summer, right? So I'm not like I'm super tan and it's it's probably it's very much blending in with my hair. I mean with my skin, but I have the dark hair, I have my bright pop of my lip. So it's like really started to balance it out and you can balance it out with jewelry and other things like that. So I always do contrast a little bit more than I'm worried about color seasons because that to me is how, again, like when we're looking at a full body, your eye doesn't get stuck anywhere. And that's more important. And that goes into, especially with branding and psychology and things like that. Like when someone's talking to you, and especially like if you're in business and you're with a client or you're on a sales call or something like that, you don't want their eye to get stuck and trained in one spot, right? You want their eye to continuously move in a circular pattern. They don't even know they're doing it. You don't know they're doing it. It's kind of like when you walk into a house and if all the furniture was on one side of the room, you'd be like, oh, why is there all the furniture on this side and there's just like one little potted plant over here? It would just be so uncomfortable. So I tell people that all the time. I'm like, when you're thinking about dressing your body in contrast, think about it like that. Like if you're a low contrast person, like if your hair is similar color to your skin, it's probably why you don't like the really stark colors, like the reds or the black, because it's just too much. But then you have
Mm.
to lighten it up some other ways. And there's so many ways to do it. And that's why there can't be rules because there's so many fun ways to do it. You just have to
I
have these
I
general
love
guidelines.
that. I love that when I hear that from people who like yourself, and my sister-in-law is really good at fashion. Like she'll like go, we went to Winners, which is like a Marshall's kind of that kind of a place. And she pulled this jumper off of the rack and it's like green and floral, full like one color fabric, like pattern the entire thing. And I'm like that's a piece. But she's like, I'm gonna, put this belt with it. I'm gonna wear it with cowboy boots. And I'm like, what? Like, I actually took all these, I was doing brand photos just last week, conveniently. And I was like putting outfits together and taking pictures and sending them to her for like, I
Yes.
got these blue suede cowboy boots that I now am like, I have to wear these with everything. And can I wear them with these jeans? And can I wear them with this dress? And can I wear them with shorts? And like, what can I wear them with? Like one of those like accordion like skirts.
Oh,
All of
so
it.
fun.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so like I just think I'm saying is that when you say there's no rules, like that's the whole point, right? It's almost
Yes.
like the more interesting of something you put together that you didn't think would necessarily work is what's unique. And I had never worn, and I had an outfit that I had never worn before. It was the blue suede boots. It was like a floral dress, like a really nice that I knew was like it's a light purple and like a cream
Mm.
color long sleeve. And then I threw like a super casual oversized jean jacket with it. And I
Oh
went
my
to
God.
an event and I got over 10 people who literally stopped me just to say, like, I love
The
your outfit. Like, it looks so good. And then what does that do? That starts conversations with people.
conversations.
And I'm in a business setting. Like, so I just actually saw somebody post, like, hot tip if you're going networking, like, do something to make yourself stand out. Like the pink jumpsuit you talk about, I wear that when I go to like a black tie.
Yes.
Everyone's wearing black and I was the girl in pink, or they'll remember me as the girl with the blue cowboy boots now, right?
Yes. Like I say that all the time, like, what's your conversation starter? You should never be walking into, especially in a business networking meeting, especially as a small, personal brand. What is your conversation starter? What is the one thing that everyone's going to remember you for? What is it? And it doesn't have to be flashy or doesn't have to be bright pink. It just has to be super consistent and it has to be super you. But you are so allowed to do that. And that's so fun. Like when people say to me all the time, but can I wear these tennis shoes with this dress? I'm like, yes, and you should, because your 10 people are going to stop you and be like, oh my God, wanted to wear tennis shoes to this event so bad, but I didn't. And now you're a way shower for them. And in business, all we're really ever looking for is the person that's a couple of steps ahead of us that is showing us a way to do something that we don't know how to do or don't have time to do for ourselves. So, such a good point.
Hmm. Love that. I want to hear a little bit more on your take on like kind of the psychology of style in how you represent yourself as a brand.
There's so much that like that's my jam. So you have color psychology, which we were kind of talking about like color seasons of color, which that's why I don't even really like to get into that so much as I like the color psychology, right? There's and you can take that to so many different places, but we were talking about like skin and hair and eyes and nails. When we wear our inherent colors, those colors that match our skin, our hair, our eyes, and our nails, it makes us appear more approachable. So that's something I like to share with my ladies. I'm like, if you're, if that's what you want, if that's what you're going for, I say like if you're on a sales call or if you're in a small intimate setting, like going for those approachable colors are something you should absolutely work in. We have all heard of power colors, right? So like when you're exuding authority and that's the thing that you need to do, then wearing power colors. Now on the flip side to that, when you think of like silhouettes and things like that, you know, um, culture is culture for a reason, and we all kind of have these nuances of these things that remind us, right? Like red, we think of stop signs because that's the way of life that we live. So when I say like authority, and if you're what you're trying to communicate with yourself or with the person you're interacting with is authority, like you need to go back and say, okay, and apply it to yourself, honestly, because we can only filter the world through our own experiences in your world, who exudes authority to you, and how does that person dress? Well, like historically in our current culture, like collars represent, blazers represent authority, things like that, right? Like suits and ties, when we think of power suit, things like that. So there's a lot of psychology around things like that, right? When someone wants to be, and when you tie it back to your brand, like I always start my new clients, I'm like, tell me the three words for like how you want to feel every day when you get dressed. And then tell me the three words, like your brand values. Like how do you want your clients to feel? What are the values that you've built your business on? And then let's tap into the psychology of those words. So like if you came to me, like one that comes up for me right now, like I don't know if this is a brand value for you, but if you were like, I want to feel luxurious or I want to feel pampered or adorned, I'd be like, yes, you've got your rings on. I can see your earrings. You've got your necklaces on. To me, I interpret that as you adorn yourself. You feel very luxurious. You feel like to me, that is another way of exuding authority because when I see a lot of jewelry, I instantly, again, my own filter, I go Cleopatra. Like that's my go-to big energy person for me. So that's what I connect to when I think of when I get on Zoom and someone has a lot of jewelry. It draws me in because it's attention grabbing. It makes the frame not feel so flat on Zoom. And I'm like, oh, and it just feels luxurious. And luxurious can mean many different things to many people, right? It could be taking a sip of really good coffee, or it could be making lots of money. Like we all get to interpret that however we want. So there's lots of fun ways that you can tie that back in.
That's really interesting and a really interesting observation too. Um,
You got your shiny fingernails and your jewelry. I'm like,
I
yes,
do wear a lot
I
of
love it.
jewelry, and this is my mom's, like I inherited both these rings from my mom when she
Beautiful.
passed away. So I always wear it whenever I want to like just bring her into my day, which is most days. So
I
yeah.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And so that's sentimental for you too. So like if
Yeah.
you wear that, like not knowing that about you, like that was ringing, like drew me right in, right? It's like stacked, it's really pretty. I'm like, oh, it just you can just tell like it means something, right? And that's just a really good way. Like I think when we go back to that original like personal branding, helping people feel dialed in, like an
Mm.
expression of who we are, it's those things. I'm sure everyone that's listening to this podcast, knowing you, it's like they know the importance of bringing that energy and tapping into our
Yeah.
energy to build our confidence and all of that. And at the end of the day, that's what everything could be, right? Like you can go to, just to use a blanket example, it's like you could go to Starbucks and you can get a $5 cup of coffee and it feels real luxurious. Now, if I bring that Starbucks to your house and you let it like sit on the counter and then you have to heat it in the microwave like 5 times, it doesn't have the same effect. And that's just the energy of life. So we get to do that with ourselves, with our clothes, and we get to create like what does that mean for us and how do we use that? Like
Yeah.
going back to what you said about like why do we say we don't care about fashion? Like you get to take that and flip it and like mold it into whatever you want it to be. And that's why I think it's so fun. Like whether I was do it's easy to say this now, but I would like to believe that whether I was doing styling or not, that when I show up for my clients, that I would still dress in a way that channels whatever our meeting was about, whatever we were presenting, wherever phase of the journey that we're in. Like I tell my clients that all the time. I'm like photo shoots. I'm like, what's your casual outfit? What's your client outfit? And what's your celebration outfit? I want your client to see the results they want from working with you in your outfit, in that celebration outfit.
Okay, I love all of that. And also, it's making me think like this is one of the main things that we could actually control about ourselves, right?
Yes.
Like we might have big dreams and like goals and things, and it's so easy to constantly remind ourselves how we're not there yet and we're on a journey and blah, blah, blah. But if you show up and actually just put on some clothes that make you feel like you're in that power, how much could that change the actual outcomes that you can create for yourself and your business?
Yes, all the time. Like, we can't control what's happening in the economy and we can't control the buyer's life cycle or like whatever those things are in our business, but this is something you can control. And it doesn't have to be scary and it doesn't have to be like over, and it's not about getting glammed up every single day. You could
Yeah.
wear that ring that's your mom's in your pajamas. It's the micro moment that you say to yourself when you're building that confidence of like, okay, what am I gonna put on today that's gonna make me like take that one next step? It could be the ring. You can say like, okay, well today I'm writing content and I'm gonna wear my content day outfit. We can get into this too. Like I'm gonna wear my content day outfit. This is like my really casual but creative outfit. And I always like to wear this certain gloss, or I always like to wear this certain perfume because there's really fun stuff, psychology around perfume and smells, right? And how we can recall memory with our smells, or I'm going to paint my fingernails a certain way. I mean, think about when you type and you have those nails. Doesn't that make you feel like just like you're like typing? And you're like, oh my God, look at me typing and my nails are so cute. Then you know what your writing's coming sounds better than it would if you were just sitting there with nubby little nails you've been chewing on all day because no one's going to see me.
Ah, thank you. Yes. Actually, it's one of for me getting my nails done has been a thing that I've done ever since I lost my mom also, because she always had nice nails, like always, like dyed with a manicure. It was and it's just like a thing that I do that connects me to her as well. But then I
Yeah.
also feel like it's the one piece that's always put together no matter how I feel in the morning. right? So like
Yeah.
this, like a status quo is that my nails are nice, even if I'm just wearing workout clothes or Mickey Mouse hoodie or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's exactly it. Like I was thinking, I went to the gym the other day and I was like, I'm not gonna like do all these other things. I was like, but I want to put on my cute tennis shoes and I'm gonna put on my lipstick, and that's enough for me to make me feel good. Going to the gym for the first time and like not, feeling like I'm super comfortable with it.
Totally. So I think, I mean, what do you tell your clients in terms of the whole like getting dressed process? Because I think that, like, just to break it down to the simple level, that is the place where we kind of meet the overwhelm and frustration. I see this with my kids all the time. All day, and then like you don't know how to choose, what to choose, what you need to decide in order to make that choice.
Decision fatigue is super real, especially if you're a business owner, right? Like, where can you eliminate decision fatigue? Start in your closet.
Mm,
Number one rule, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, like tell me some of your rules, like get started and shop in your closet. Shop in your closet is the number one place to start. So like you mentioned the closet. I don't know if this is gonna be a video or not. Everything that's in your closet that you go to every day should be the clothes that you can access and wear every day. Meaning, if it's like your prom dress or your wedding dress or the dresses that you wear to weddings and your costumes for Halloween or whatever, those don't need to be in your closet. Those need to be archived. Out of sight, out of mind. If it doesn't fit, it needs to be archived. And we could talk about what that means, but like, in another space, like when I walk into this closet every day, everything in here fits. It's things that I'm currently loving, it's things that I'm currently wearing. And then I just have to decide, okay, so am I going to wear this shirt or am I going to wear this shirt? What do I feel like wearing today? What are my values? Who am I seeing? What are we talking with? What are they dealing with? What do they need me to help them with today? Like, depending on the client, depending on the thing. So,
mm.
like, really shopping down your closet. And then I mentioned, like, oh, it's content day. Getting super clear. Like, I know it sounds kind of boring, but it's like, okay, so on Mondays, it's like creating an outfit formula for yourself. It's like, okay, on Mondays, like take your cowboy boots, for example. It's like, okay, on Mondays, I'm going to do content day. I'm doing behind the scenes day. I'm not taking meetings. What can I wear today that's going to make me feel like casual and creative, but really juicy? I mean, let's get funky. Maybe today you just want to wear your shorts and your boots. Who cares? In a tank top. Who cares if anyone sees you or not? Like, you see you. And then you could take those same pair of boots. And now Tuesdays, we're going to do client calls. Now we're going to pair them with the dress and the jean jacket. Okay, cool. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do podcasts. So, like, what is it that we're going to wear for that? Maybe it's a cute pair of jeans and a different shirt that looks really good on Zoom. And it's in our lives, we have a lot of rhythm in our lives, whether we think we do or not. And it's kind of like latching on to that and being like, okay, what's my lifestyle? And then how do my clothes fit in that lifestyle? So people talk about capsule wardrobes all the time, but I tell people you can have capsules for different areas of your life. As long as your closet is of the time and everything in it fits and it's all stuff you can wear on a daily basis. And on your like take a normal week of your life, right? Which you're just doing the normal things, like your closet should reflect that. So if 80%, 80 is a real harsh number, 60% of your week is work, then I want 60% of the things in your everyday closet to support you in your work. And again, we can break down those days into whatever they are. And if
Mhm.
40% of the week is family time, sports, game night, dates with your girlfriends, then we need, and you can break that down even further. The other 40% of the closet needs to support that. And what happens a lot is we just don't let ourselves do that. And we'll have like all those other clothes I mentioned. Like our closet is just full of clothes that we just don't wear because it doesn't fit. It's not who we are anymore. We're saving it from our past life. It's if we've started a business, it's from our corporate. It doesn't represent who we are. It doesn't all it just so many different things. So we walk in and we're like, I have nothing to wear.
Yes.
It happens to all of us, and less really is more. And I love what you said about the boots, and I didn't like we kind of commented on it right then, but it's like everything. There's so many little nuancy things, like on my idiosyncrasies. I'm like, okay, everything you buy before you buy it, you have to ask yourself, do I have three things in my closet right now that support this purchase? If I'm buying this thing, does it need me to buy another thing to make it work in my closet? Nothing's wrong with that, but we got to get intentional about then why are we buying it? Because everything we buy should just be supporting something else that we already have.
Mm,
If not,
that's
then it's an orphan. And being an orphan sad, and we don't want anyone to be an orphan.
right. Or then when you go shopping, you feel like you have to only buy full outfits. Like,
Yes.
oh, I got three pieces at the same time, and then that's more expensive.
You're like, and there's just this one outfit, and you're like, great, now I have one outfit, but I need 14 because I want to have, 2 weeks worth of clothes. But like our brain doesn't work like that. That's why I like shopping it in pieces. It's like the three-piece rule. It's like, do I have three pieces to wear it? Three different ways to wear it. And you can, and that's where you challenge yourself. And that's where your creativity, like you're talking about the boots, and you're like, how else can I wear the boots? What else can I wear the boots with? And that's when it gets fun. And that's when you tap into your network and you're like, do these boots go? And if you even think they do, then chances are they do.
This is so fun. And I think when I'm listening to you talk, I'm like not even aware of some of the decisions and things I'm asking myself when I go to get dressed in the morning. Like if I'm doing certain things and I just want to be super comfortable, like
Mhm.
comfort plays a huge role, right? Am I like going to be standing all day? Am I walking around? Like, am I sitting at
Mhm.
my desk all day? I have certain jeans that are a no-go for sitting at the desk all
Yes.
day,
Yes.
right? They're standing up jeans. They
Yes.
didn't
I
use
have
to
my
be, but now
crochet
they are.
shorts.
Yes. And like it's also kind of cold in my basement, so I always kind of want a jacket sometimes in my
Yeah.
office. Like, and like, what am I doing and who am I seeing and all that stuff? And maybe some of us listening are also going through that little checklist, but we're not even thinking that we are. I'm like, just I love like the empower you to be intentional about what you're wearing for what you're doing and how you want to feel. Because
Yes.
you feel your best, you present yourself your best, and everything that comes out of that is good.
Everything. I always say, like, this is what makes superstars and icons. It's those little things, like you mentioned, like the fashion psychology. It's those little teeny things that they are doing that is making you be like, what makes them so magic? Like, what makes Beyonce Beyonce? What makes Taylor Swift Taylor Swift? It's these little teeny things that are just everything has intentionality behind it. Every little thing. There's no corner is being cut. Like they're going all in. And like you said, it's just the same way in running your business. And the other part is like when I say this and people are like, oh my God, that's so much. I'm not comfortable with this. It's just building the habit. And once you've built the habit, I don't spend an hour every day figuring out what I'm going to wear. I just already know. Like I already know, like, hey, if I'm podcasting, I wore this or certain earrings, they make noise when you podcast. Like you start to just know these things, and it goes back to every other part of our life. Do you stay curious in your business? Then stay curious in your style. Use your style as a reflection of where you might be getting stuck in your business. If you feel like your business is stuck or stalling out and you're not showing up or you're scared to show up, you're not showing up in your style in your closet either. You're whatever is happening in your business or any of other area of your life, you can use those moments of yourself. It's one of the first decisions you make in the day is what am I going to wear? You can use that as a stopgap to be like, huh, why am I choosing this? Am I choosing this because I'm stuck in a rut? I don't believe in myself right now. Am I down? Am I depressed? Maybe I'm super happy, right? Like maybe I'm wearing these boots because I'm just having such a good part of my life. And you can kind of always use that to like check back in yourself. Everything's connected. All of it is.
I love that. Such a good reminder. And thank you for bringing this like full circle to the whole like frivolity. I think that's the word of like the conversation topic and how it might be written off that way. And yet how important it really is because the more that we can do, I think, especially as women, to make ourselves feel good in our own
Yes.
skin, it affects everything about the way that we show up in the world for ourselves
Yes.
first and then everybody else that we come into contact with in the process.
Yes. And I love sharing it too. Like, I love what you shared about like your mom and her nails and why you get your nails done. Like, what a powerful story. So, next time I see you and I see your nails, and I think this is really true for women, and especially people who feel like they're easily intimidated, and fashion can in and of itself is really intimidating. But then I think with women, we do this with each other is if someone shows up and they're really put together, the psychology behind it is really intimidating. Like, oh, this person must have their life together. Because if someone's physically put together, we think that their life is put together. If someone's physically messy, we assume their life is messy. And that also plays into sales and how we buy and sell things too. But like the next time I see you and I see your nails, I'm gonna think, oh, Kelly, like I just loved your nails anyway, but now I'm gonna be like, oh, Kelly, and I know the story of your mom when you presented, and I'm like, how awesome and how beautiful is that? So like now, not only are they amazing and hot and sexy and cute, but now they also and have this other deeper meaning that goes with them. And it just goes back to that you can be pretty and you can be smart and you can be everything.
That is the quote. That is the quote we're using
That's it.
for this. Oh, okay, Katie, I could sit here and talk with you all day about this because it's so fun. And I just want to say, like, shout out to you because I think that we're connected because I love how much you love what you do. And I really love when women can step into their like zone of genius and just like really pour their passion into their work because I think that that is really what makes a difference, and that's like the ripple effect that I want to make in this world is more people doing what they love, bringing joy, and rippling the joy out from there. And you do that so much with what you do.
Yeah.
Did you want to say anything, any other final words, let people know where to connect with you, all of that?
Yes, I'd say my final words is trust yourself because you do know what you like. You just have to slow down and let yourself. You know. No one else can answer that for you, not even a stylist. They can guide you and they can help you and they point you in the right direction, but innately you know. And then if you guys want to connect, you can connect with me on Insta, Katie Allen Stylist, and we can hang out there. And I love answering questions and all of that. So don't be a stranger. As you can tell, I'm pretty open book, and I can talk about this stuff for days.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Kelly.